Okay, just make sure that this is on mute.
I think we're live.
Yay! All right, I'm just gonna make sure that we're muted on my end so I don't get two voices in my head.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. There we go. Oh, gosh, Tara's already processing. I'm already yawning.
You already know.
So we just want to welcome everybody for part 2 of Tara's story. So it's actually been 1 month and a little bit extra since her first episode, her first interview with us, her first healing. And we just thank everybody for coming back and joining us again today. So if you missed part 1, I suggest you go back and watch it because it was really amazing. And Tara's had lots of positive feedback with her interview, and I'll let her tell the story, but she's made a great positive impact on other people as well. So this is Tara's journey on eating and healing food addiction and what she has done. And last time we were with her, we did actually a lot of work.
Yeah.
And there was quite a bit that we did. So we released some emotional traumas, we released some emotional resonances, and we released core negative beliefs that you had about that you weren't lovable. And I know we just talked about that, but it's one of those things that it's not just you. You're not the only person that goes through that. I think a lot of us go through that in life, that we just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not lovable enough. And so we take on these other habits to make us feel good. So excuse me. I'm excited. I know you and Stephanie kind of caught up a little bit while I was getting things together, but I'm excited to hear about what has transpired since your first session with us, and what kind of feedback have you been getting from viewers that have watched your interview?
Okay, so some of the things that have happened since was, well, we had the holidays. Okay, so first I'll tell you a little bit about kind of personal struggles or temptations that were around holidays. I had a couple of weeks off work. You know, I was bouncing from house to house where, I mean, you know, everybody's offering everything, right?
Oh,
I mean, my brother-in-law, I mean, it kind of became a joke because, you know, he's like, hey, you want this, you know, whatever it is, this caramel or this gummy thing or this, you know, whatever it is. But the temptations were quite hard to fight off. I was okay during Thanksgiving, but Christmas, I wasn't as great. Like my dietitian said, good news is I did not gain any weight during those 2 weeks, but I didn't lose any either. And so, which is okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry, my son's calling.
That's okay.
Are we there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so yeah, so as of today, I have lost now 46 pounds.
Yay.
Awesome.
Since you know, last year in 2020, I hit my highest weight. And so, yeah, so I'm down about 46 pounds. I am still scheduled to have bariatric surgery. Because of COVID, it is going to be bumped out a few months. So now we're thinking the first week in July. And I am a little nervous about all of my, like my dietitian meetings. Like right now I meet with her every 2 weeks and we only have a few more sessions together. And then that support is no longer there for me. Okay. And so I am, unless I can find another resource, either that my insurance covers or just through my bariatric support group on Facebook, I am a little nervous to not have that accountability. She did, you know, say that we could still remain friends and, you know, stuff like that, but it would be outside of like, you know, office stuff. So, so that is something I'm nervous about, but, you know, I'm very hopeful that when July comes, I'm either not going to need the surgery because I will be in, you know, a great place where I feel like I can, continue with the tools that I've learned and stuff like that. Or I'll still be supported by, all my, friends and family and doctor and, everything else. So, so the feedback has been, it's been amazing. It has been amazing since we posted that part 1. Facebook, Instagram. I talked to my doctor about it and she tuned in and watched it. My dietitian was like, you didn't tell me that I had to have a box of Kleenex that I came prepared with this time. And she said that she was, like hollering at the phone. There was a moment where I was saying I didn't feel lovable. And she said she was like, screaming to the phone, like, you are lovable. You're great. So it's nice. It's definitely nice to hear that kind of stuff. And people have been anxious for part 2. And so I know that everybody's going to be thrilled that they're going to get this. But yeah, like I'm at an okay place. I'm getting ready to start a new job in February. So things will change. My exercise routine will change. I'll be working full time, and I haven't done full-time work in probably over 10 years where it's been consistent like that. So, there's going to be some challenges, but I think as long as I, keep my support system and keep continuing really to, just be able to express myself and get people, the right positive people that are here by my side. And so, that's kind of where I am.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And to keep the people that bring you the most happiness and joy, just surround yourself with them, because it's so easy to get entangled with, sometimes friends and family that are a little bit on the negative side, and it just draws you down. And then it may be a temptation like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go, eat something because they just made me feel bad. You know what I mean? So
Right.
Just be really careful and mindful of that as well. But I wanted to tell you 2 things. So Stephanie is actually a health and wellness coach. So she does that. And Stephanie and I both have masterminds where we hold people accountable. So if you do get to that point where you're like, I'm finding where I need to find some accountability. Stephanie and I meet is it Tuesday?
Yeah.
Every Tuesday evening.
Okay.
And a lot of us are working on our health and wellness goals. Okay. Go ahead.
So she could join us.
She could join us. Yeah. I think it would be fun. Tara would be really fun to have in there. So the other thing I was going to tell you is our subconscious doesn't know certain things. It's like a 5-year-old. And so then when we say the word loss, so I want you to replace that with, I released 26 pounds, because we don't realize how our words affect us. So like when we heard, I lost 46 pounds, eventually your subconscious is going to say, oh my gosh, I lost something. I have to find it.
Yeah.
So then
true.
So if you just kind of don't say weight loss journey, don't say, try to, and I slip up too, but I try to say like weight release, I've released, I've melted, I've, whatever the
I've shed. Yeah.
Shed. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I like released because it's almost like, release.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
So you try to use those words in place of that LOSS word, because we don't want your subconscious going back saying, we better find all those pounds that we lost because she lost them somewhere. We're going to find them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. So, that was my little thing. So, so did you have people reaching out to you, and saying that they could relate to your story?
I would say that I had a handful of people for sure. Just people that I know. And what I love now is that, I would say 3 or 4 days ago, it was on Facebook, and I had posted some meal prepping that I was doing. Mm-hmm. And I was just making these like scrambled egg muffin things.
Oh yeah.
And right after I did that, I went to my mom's house and she was making them. And then my friend, he was like, oh my gosh, I got to go make those right now. And then I saw on Instagram that another friend of mine had made them that day too. So, yeah. So I love how, I mean, sometimes it's unspoken, but people are actually, they're seeing it and, trying to apply some of those things in their own life and stuff like that. So, yeah. And then I would say that, a lot of other people I belong to, which I mentioned before, Facebook bariatric support group, and the admin let our part 1 go through, and so all of those people could tune in, and
cool.
And I got some side messages there like, oh my gosh, super relatable. This is me currently, this is who I used to be, and and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I feel before I felt a little alone in this, and I'm realizing, no, that's not what it is. This isn't only happening to me.
No.
So yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure that a lot of people would also say that they had parts of your journey that almost identically match what they go through.
Yeah.
And then of course there's going to be that other background stuff that's going to be a little bit different. But a lot of people, I mean, it all has to do with a lot of those. I heard something the other day and I was sitting here trying to think, like, how do I bring this part up? You know how I'm just going to bring it up because I don't even know why this came into but you know how food is it's such a draw. It has such a draw. I was reading something the other day and I wish I could remember where I saw it exactly. I think it might have been in Bright Line Eating possibly, or something else, but it was talking about how really like that other side of it would be almost like the sex side. And I thought, interesting, because usually if you're at least for me, I've been there myself, where you're like overweight, you're like, I don't want to have anything to do with that other side of it. And I was like, why would that be? Why are they so connected? And I think it's because honestly, it can be very intimate on either side of that. Yeah. So I'm wondering, like how much of that we could maybe even dig into a little bit.
Okay.
And just, like, and also like, I was thinking about like, there's other addictions in people's lives. Like where would those be? What are those? And what's trying to attach to that as well? I mean, could that be another part of the onion that we just start peeling back a little bit? And they may be like small things, but could have been like, addictive type things at one time. So,
hey guys, I'm going to just, I have to run and get my charger because it's just, I'm watching my battery get sucked away here.
Yeah.
So I'll be right back in just 1 second.
Okay. And then the other thing I was really thinking about too was when you were talking a lot about the accountability and that kind of like that fear of like, oh God, where are these people going to be? I need that. I think when she was talking about it, as soon as you said that before, I was thinking, my gosh, it would be perfect for her to, join in on a mastermind group, and where a lot of us are focused on health and really trying to keep that. But, do you write down what you eat every day? Do you do that?
Yes.
Do you write it down like before you eat or after you eat?
After. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll show you. So like here's an example, so it always has the date, and then I always eat 3 meals and a snack. And then
I see, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I can see that.
Yeah, and a snack. And so I've actually, let's see, I've been doing that since the middle of August. Now this started out as an insurance requirement.
Right.
So for 6 months I had to journal all my food intake and stuff like that. And then I have to show this to my doctor when I go once a month for my weigh-ins. And then I have to show it to the dietitian as well every 2 weeks. And they have to write a little thing about it for the insurance that I have been, doing that. So that has been very helpful, you know.
Did you resist that at the beginning?
Not at all.
So you were like full on board with that, you know,
Absolutely.
okay, yep, I'll write it down.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, when I got my approval letter, like it stated, you know, you need to lose 5% of your body weight. You need to document this for 6 months. I mean, it was very, very clear. You wouldn't even be considered unless you did these things. And I was like, you know, all right, you tell me what to do. I'm doing everything you tell me to do. And yeah, I just started it. And this is something that I could have been doing for a really, really long time. I actually look forward to writing in it because, you know, the choices that I'm making, you know, when I had a cookie at Christmas, you know, I wrote it in there, like, you know, they were like, you write everything, you know, don't write things, you know, just to impress us, or, you know, if you eat, you know, Reese's peanut butter cup, you write it in there. So, you know, but yeah.
So one thing I heard one time was that if you write it, so it's almost like this, that food can have like a control over you, or it feels like it can. So if you write it out the day before, like right before you go to bed, say, all right, this is what I'm going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's not negotiable, right? It's just what you're going to have.
Yeah.
Then it no longer has that pull where you can actually like switch around, change your mind, you know, it, because sometimes food does feel like it really does have the pull on you, like it has the charge over you. And that's something that I've been actually trying, is writing it down the day before and just saying, well, that's just what it is. You know, I don't want it to be I want it to be where food is no longer something I focus on, because I always seem to focus on it, you know, and so putting it on paper, like, no, this is just what I'm going to eat. It's just fuel. It's what I put in my body, and this is what I'm going to eat. I know I have it in the fridge, and that's it. Because before, I always would associate it with, what do I feel like eating?
Yeah. I do that a little bit with my breakfast. Usually my lunch and dinner are usually planned out, because I do a lot of meal prepping and stuff like that. And I know what I have in my fridge, but my breakfast is definitely how I'm feeling. Do I want eggs today? Do I feel like oatmeal, just a protein shake? You know, I mean, I have my, you know, my select, say 6 or 7 go-tos, you know, and for me that works because it allows me to have some kind of choice in it,
like a flexibility.
But I think because I meal prep and stuff like that, like when it comes to like lunches and stuff like that, I just know what I'm going to have, because I am obsessing over, you know, and I, in my head a day before, I'm definitely already thinking, okay, tomorrow I'm going to have this and this and this, you know what I mean? My snack and my breakfast are the ones that, you know, are kind of optional.
And you kind of are really almost doing that already. And I mean, you're kind of pre-planning the day before already.
Right.
Somewhat, at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right. That's all I had right at the moment.
Okay.
That I can think of.
Yeah. But I do. Oh,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say, I wanted to do a full court of atonement. So what I would do is, it's just a short statement that you say, and you would say your first name, your middle name, and your birth name, last name at birth. So not any married names. Because what you're doing is you're asking your soul to go into a full court of atonement where the soul can heal on a soul level. So it's not like our earthly physical self, it's on your soul. So like, what's that soul been through that maybe we're not conscious of, or even subconscious of, or aware? And so you get into this full court of atonement, and you take your soul to court. And so it's like, okay, and then it just hashes it out. Whatever happens. And so I want to do that. But I think what I'll do with this is, instead of doing it on here, because This is Mary Jo Ellis's work, and I don't know if it's appropriate to say online. Like, I don't want to, get in trouble for using other people's stuff, even though I've taken her courses and stuff. But so what I think I'll do is I'll take a picture of this and send it to you.
Okay.
And then that way you can do it when we're done and make sure you say all that. And so I just wanted to make sure I told you about that so you can do that. And then there was
or we could actually do it with her right when we get off.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yay. Thank you, Stephanie. And then we'll do something about your inner critic too. Okay. So that voice, that inner critic in your head, we're going to kind of call your soul back to court and then have your inner critic kind of analyze to make sure that it's in alignment with you. Okay. Okay. So I think, and I'll look through this too, because Stephanie and I might find other things that we want to add. To the full court of atonement, because these are pretty powerful. So I'll put that over there. So I have it open and out. Okay, so the thing we wanted to.
I was also wondering about miasms. Because you and I had worked on before where we had found that being able, the miasm, do you remember that, Amanda, where we were talking about releasing the excess weight? Was the scurry miasm. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, I wonder how I got muted.
I don't know.
I didn't even touch anything. Sometimes my computer just does that. Don't know. Okay, so scurry, the miasm of scurry.
Yeah, it was scurry and London plague. That one. Okay. So I thought maybe we could release that too, just to have it.
Okay. Done. Yeah, that's perfect. So, and I also wanted to go with that temptation of how hard it was to kind of fight off some of those temptations. Because if I say, hey, how strong is that temptation? I get 100%. So that is a really strong temptation that you really had to work very, very, very hard at not, falling into that temptation. So the temptation is 100%. And we want to be 0%. I want you to be able to walk by and be like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I can tell you something for me personally is when I started looking at the food ingredients and knowing what's good for my body and what's not good for my body. Like if I can't pronounce a name, then I think it's probably chemical and I don't want that in my body. So just my little thing about candy. I love candy. But once I started removing like artificial colors from my diet, that took out a whole bunch of candy because I knew the effects of the artificial colors and what it can do to you long term. And some people have higher effects of those things than others. And so I was like, well, I know I have a lot of health issues, not me personally, but like that run in my family. And I didn't want to have those same things. So I'm like, heal thyself, right? And then I can heal others. So I cut out all that candy. And so now when I look, I'm like, oh no. And someone asked me, even like cake that has like frosting that has like the color. And I'm like, oh no, I don't do, it just makes it easier. Sometimes you're like, no. And it's not like it's a diet. It's just like, no, I choose not to put those things in my body because I know what could happen down the line. It makes things a little easier. Well, and harder at the same time because you want something. You're like, nothing looks good. Nothing sounds good. I don't know what I'm going to eat. So, I mean, that could be something that you could do too is start researching some of these things and seeing, well, what is yellow 5 and what is it and why is it in our food, right? And just start researching some of those things. And then you can make your own decision like, well, do I want to keep it in my body or do I want to not, right? And you could do that with like any color. We did it as a game. The kids and I was like, okay, which one do you want to research and which one, and actually it was Amara. She researched all of them and she's like, I don't want any more candy. And I'm like, what do you mean about candy? And she's like, no. She's like, I don't want any candy, Mom. If you saw the ingredients and what they're made out of and all that, she's like, I don't want to put that in my body. And I thought, oh, that's cool. So we kind of learned that way. And So that was the one way for me to like literally cut out almost all candy. Now I love chocolate.
Yeah.
But I can look at, and I don't eat gluten. So a lot of the chocolate companies use gluten in their products. So I have to be careful about that. Hi. And so there's just certain chocolates that I can eat, and I usually do dark chocolate. So if I do want chocolate, I don't withhold it for myself. I just make sure it's a really good quality, that I'm not just at the at the store looking at all the candy bars, the 2 for $2, right? We were talking about last time.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, I remember when I used to do that. I remember when I was like, oh, I could get, one for me and one for, and, for the kids and stuff. And now I don't even have that temptation. I'm just like, and the kid's like, Mom, can I have it? I'm like, that's disgusting. No, put it back. No, that's gross. I'm like, you really want that? Remember what's in it, And so, so then I'm not as tempted to eat those things, and especially even like with the gluten allergy, which is wheat flour. It stops me from eating a lot of extra stuff because it's in everything. Yeah. So that's just my little story with those things and releasing those temptations, because now I'm like, oh no, I don't even want those in my body at all. So it helped me with my temptation. So anyways, so if we go through your temptation and figure out, okay, what's causing this temptation? I got to get to my chart here. And Stephanie's just working away.
I am, because something was just coming up here and I'm like, when was this? Something I keep getting at 18 years old. Now it could be 19, but I kept going back to 18. So something with 18, and I asked, well, is it a trapped emotion? And I was getting the trapped emotion horror, which is, and the explanation that I got was a strong emotion of alarm or disgust.
Alarm or disgust.
But there was another one right behind it, and it was betrayal. And it was betrayed is to have your trust broken, to be deserted or hurt by a trusted one.
Going back to the boyfriends,
Oh my gosh.
Thank goodness I'm smart this time and bringing it up. But we hold on to stuff because we bottle it in and we just move forward. We're not taught to deal with our emotions, right?
Okay. I know exactly what both those things are.
Tell me.
Okay. Oh man. So the first one, the disgusted one, was oh my goodness. When I was 18, graduating, I had been sexually taken advantage of for a few years. And when I was 18, I finally just put a stop to it. And to this day, I can't, oh man, it's one of my best friend's brothers. And I still have a really hard time because he's in her family. He's not really relevant in their family right now, but it's just hard because I associate him with her. So spending time with her. And then the one that follows that is my oldest son. It's his dad. And I did trust him, and same kind of thing. I was just coming out of high school, and it was, betrayal and trust broken of somebody that I had trusted. And, I don't really know what else to say about it. We're friends now.
So I wonder if this goes back to the very beginning when I said, I don't know why I'm going to bring this up, but I just am, where I was talking about food and then the other side of it being the sex. Because I know that, I don't know why they're associated in some way, shape, or form, but it's usually a betrayal of you in that regard, that you go the other way. You go towards that food. So I would like to just release that and see if we can release that for good, because I don't have another trapped emotion. It was those two things, and it was right around that age. So I'm going to go ahead and release those now, Tara. So we just released the trapped emotion of horror, which is strong emotion of alarm and disgust at 18 years of age, where she had sexually been taken advantage of her best friend's brother. And then also a betrayal of, which is to have her trust broken from her, was it your husband then?
No, it was just a boyfriend at the time.
From her boyfriend, which is your child's dad, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we just release those 100% completely and permanently.
Perfect. Okay. So
Thank
as
you, Tara.
we need to release.
I know. It's good. It's good.
So the other thing is, so when I got into the temptation, it was at 100%. But what I got was the trapped emotion of nervousness. And your subconscious, like, we don't need to know anything else about it. Just get rid of it. So I got rid of that. And then we had the trapped emotion of overwhelm. Same thing. We didn't need to know anything else about it. And just releasing those two trapped emotions, I got you down to 0%. So hopefully the 0%, hopefully it stays there. Is there anything causing where Tara would go back into temptation? So I get a no. So what was the other thing? Let's go into that intimacy with food, because I think there's something really important there.
Before we move on, you had overwhelm was one of the trapped emotion. What was the other one?
Give me nervousness.
Okay, thank you.
So the intimacy of food, I'm going to see where you are. Okay, so I'm only getting 53% on there. So what do you think, Stephanie? Could that be kind of like, if someone's like 53% and you have like this intimacy with food, could that be that, like, that diet, like yo-yo, where you're like, oh, I'm really, really good, or really strong, and then all of a sudden you kind of fall back into it, and then and then you're like, oh, I'm going to start a new diet, and you know what I mean? Just because it's not like 100% where it's like all the time craving. It's just kind of like 50%, almost 50%.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, I'm hearing this saying in my head, but the saying that I'm hearing is looking for love in all the wrong places.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Willie Nelson.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's like, I feel like there's such a strong, it's more of like a love intimacy connection that I'm feeling. I mean, it's almost like you need to heal both sides of that. The intimacy to its rightful place and food to its rightful place, and not try to blend those two, because I think right now it feels like looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense, Amanda?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so as you're saying that, when I do access bars, there's a clearing statement. Did we use that last time, Tara? Do you remember?
Tell me. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. What's the clearing statement that I just kind of go back and it just clears everything? So one of the things when she's saying looking for love in other places, it tells you that it's still that thing, like loving yourself and loving yourself unconditionally, right? And so when I ask her higher self, does Tara love herself unconditionally? I get a no, but we can fix that really quick. And then if I say, does Tara love others unconditionally? I get a no. So there's some conditions that you put around love. Like, well, I'll love you if you do this, or I'll love you if this, but then it's almost like if someone doesn't do certain things, you're like, I can't love that person because they're not doing what I think love is, right?
Yeah.
So what I want to ask you is whatever created that, whatever caused this, times a godzillion, do you choose to uncreate and destroy it all?
Yes.
Okay, so okay, I said a clearing statement, and just because we're on live and because it is through access bars, I don't want to say the clearing statement like online, but if you would like to know what that is after, I can definitely tell you that. Okay, so now if I ask, Tara, do you love yourself unconditionally? I get a yes. And if I say, do you love others unconditionally? I get a yes. So it just switches it like that. That's it. Now, when I do that one, I always follow up with judgment. So if I say, oh, Tara, do you judge yourself? I get a huge yes. And if I say, do you judge others? I get a huge yes. Okay. So we are going to, whatever caused that, do you choose times a gazillion? Do you choose to uncreate and destroy it all?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah. The clearing statement that we use, it goes back to the point of creation or before the point of creation when you bought into that idea that you had to have a judgment against something, or you had to think, well, this is my idea of love, but maybe that's not the right idea of love. So it's like when you bought into it, or when you accepted that as your truth. Okay. So now if I say, okay, do you judge yourself? I get a no. And if I ask, do you judge others? I get a no. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Yeah.
All right. So that fixed, I think, looking for love in all the wrong places, because before you're 100% alignment with that. So I was like, let me look at these other things. But now I say, okay, so now is she looking for love in all the wrong places? I get a no. So it's almost like about self-love. And when we are out looking for love, then we're not busy loving ourselves. So, and I know you've been on that journey too, where you're like, oh, it starts with the weight release and feeling good about yourself and really knowing what makes you happy, what brings you joy, and what you can do to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself 100%, then how can you love anyone else 100%? And how could you expect anyone else to love you 100%? There's always going to be that gray area where you'll let maybe certain things slide, or you'll accept certain things if you're not whole. So the other thing is we also attract people that are broken. So if we're broken, we attract other people that are broken, and then we're not focusing on our own stuff because we're like, oh, I'm too busy helping this person, fixing them. And it takes the energy and attention away from us. So once you heal yourself, I say like mind, body, and soul, and you're vibrating at a certain vibration, then you are attracting those other types of people that are matching your vibration. Mm-hmm. So when you see people like, gosh, why does she keep going back to that person? Or why do they keep doing that to themselves? It's so easy for us to put judgment on other people, but it's because that person, that's where their vibration is. And it's like, oh, we just have to help them kind of release and raise their vibration to help love themselves. Because then after a while, then that relationship is just kind of like, it's not exciting anymore. It's just kind of like, it's not in alignment, and people just move forward. So once you're releasing all this stuff, obviously your vibration is going to increase. That's the whole idea of this. And we can even do a test, like what your vibration was before we started, and then after, what the difference is, so you can see the vibration and how it's different. Because as we release, our energy, gets a little lighter. Okay, so we did that. So that's perfect now.
Keeps calling.
Okay, so I still get that we need to work on this intimacy of food a little bit.
Are
you working on that, Tara?
Yeah, I am. I am. So I was asking about that. So intimacy, is this an intimacy? And I kept getting, and then I really feel like this is a, will you see if there's like someone here with that? Because I feel like it's a great grandma on the maternal side.
So,
but I feel like it's something like absorbed. Is it absorbed?
So like the great grandma had this intimacy of food.
It was actually, it's a trapped emotion of lost with it.
Okay.
And it was a loss that refers to feeling of being able to see what the right direction is.
Okay.
And the part that I'm trying to figure out is if this was absorbed or what.
Okay, so you want to know if the step or if the great grandma absorbed. Yeah. So she absorbed this from her dad. So her great grandma absorbed this trapped emotion from her dad.
From her dad. Okay. That was part of the pieces I was getting.
Okay, so great grandma maternal. And then so Tara, what we mean by absorb is it's not her trapped emotion. She absorbed it from her dad. So she kind of took it on like it was her own, but it was actually your great great grandpa
Right.
that had that trapped emotion. What was the trapped emotion? Lost.
But you also absorbed it as well. It goes clear down. So we have to be able to go back to where it came from to be able to release it from all.
Yeah.
All of them.
So it's not really an absorption. It's more of a inherited.
Okay.
Yeah. So wouldn't it be cool if you knew your genealogy? You'd be like, oh, that was great grandpa so-so.
Exactly.
Okay, so loss. And it said, what did it say, Stephanie, that it didn't know which way to go?
Yeah, it said, hang on just a second, I'll tell you. It said emotionally lost refers to a feeling of being unable to see what the right direction or decision is.
Okay.
Being unable to find that emotional stability.
Okay.
And sometimes that in itself can lead to those, where do I go for this? What do I, where does that happen? So it just came up. So I don't know. And I actually said, do I need to know anything else about it? And it's like, nope, I don't need to know anything else. So I'm just going to release it.
Okay, cool.
So I just released that. Inherited from 400 generations back from great grandma on the maternal side, from dad, lost. Emotionally lost refers to a feeling of being unable to see what the right direction is, 100% completely and permanently.
I know, we're yawning. Oh, that was a huge, huge, huge release.
And
great
that
energy
has
shift there.
Been released.
Okay, well, great grandma's not done. She has some more stuff she wants to release here. So let's see what this is. Okay, so there's that feeling of overwhelm. Okay. Okay, so we don't need to know anything else. We're just going to release the trapped emotion of overwhelm from great grandma. Totally, completely, apparently. All right, perfect. Okay, so what else? Oh, she's already gone. Because she was like giving me this sense of urgency, like hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. I'm like, okay, because she started making my heart beat super fast. I started to get like sweaty. And then as soon as I released the overwhelm, I'm like, okay, anything else? Like, no. I'm like, is she gone? Yep, she's gone. So I'm like, oh, well, okay. Well, she came in and she left just as quick. She's like, I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. So it's funny how ancestors, we do inherit their stuff, even energetically, because their subconscious thinks that it's so important that it needs to be passed down from, every descendant. But it's kind of like genes and DNA. Some people get it, some people don't. So it's kind of like that too. But I could see like with this thing. So if I like the overwhelmness, if I was to say, okay, did any of Tara's kids receive that trapped emotion of overwhelmness? I get a yes. So not your oldest son. but your oldest daughter got it, and not your youngest son, but your youngest daughter. So both of the girls got it, but because we released it from her, then it literally just wipes it. They get cleared too. And so when we're digging into these even more, I mean, we could go through like the whole genealogy, but we don't really need to because, but like your siblings, you'd be like, oh yeah, this person got it, but these two didn't, or whatever. So cool. But because you got it means your mom did have it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Your mom and your grandma had it.
yeah.
So, all right. So there is more here for this intimacy of food. So let's see. Okay, so anxiety. And let me just make sure this is like 100% anxiety. Okay, so anxiety. Okay, so. Okay, so this is actually an emotional resonance. Remember from last time?
Yeah, I remember.
It like vibrates the whole body. It's not just contained. Okay, so that's a different one. So emotional resonance. So actually, this emotional resonance was inherited. Okay, so let's see from who. Because I feel so much anxiety in me right now. Like my whole body's shaking. That's how I feel. I'm just like,
I feel it too, though.
Yeah, so I'm like, let me hurry up and get this released because, do you feel like that, Tara, or no?
Well, I always feel like that.
Oh, well, let's hope we get you some calmness after we release it from this. Okay, so this is actually from a past life. It's not even from this life. Whew, that's why the energy is so strong. So let's see. Let's see how many lives. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me just make sure that I'm counting lives, past lives. Okay. Okay, I get 45. That's nice. You've been hanging on to this emotion for a long time. All right, so do we need to know anything else? Nope. Okay, so we're going to release the inherited, the emotional resonance of inherited anxiety from 45 past lives ago. So totally, completely. I'm just gonna let that settle in a little bit.
You see if there's also a trapped emotion of nervousness with that intimacy.
It could be, but hold on. We have one other person here right now from her past life.
I'm writing this down then.
Okay, and this is actually from the 45 past lives ago, so it's probably whoever you inherited it from. So from your mom. Okay, so do we need to know anything else? Okay, so we're just going to release this also from your mom of 45 past lives ago of anxiety, this emotional resonant anxiety, totally, completely, apparently. When you cough, it usually means there's a lot of energy being cleared. All right. Okay, cool. Tara, how are you feeling now? Calm now. Did you feel like just like a total feeling of calmness, or did you feel like that a little bit before? Okay.
No.
Okay, cool. And I love when that happens. It's so cool. You're just like, oh, I didn't even know I felt like that.
I'm good. I'm really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. Well, someone else is here from a past life. Okay. Can you see if at 45 past lives ago she was in Ireland?
I get a yes.
Okay. Because it's funny because I just get like, I see green, I see like, I don't know how, I can't explain how I get what I get, but it just, the word Ireland came in. So that's where you were. And, there is a miasm from that time. And do we need to know what it is? It tells me I don't need to know what the miasm was. So I don't think it really matters. Probably because in that time, maybe we don't even know what it was back then. You know what I mean? And there's no way to kind of figure that out. So let's release the miasm from 45 past lives ago when Tara lived in Ireland. Totally. Oh gosh. Tara, do you have any connections to Ireland? Like, have you ever like liked it or thought, oh, I love that, or
Not that are sticking out to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes that happens. You're like, oh, when I was little, I loved, whatever.
Okay. Or you see a movie and you're like, wow, that is a really cool place. And you think about it, and you're like, oh yeah. I mean, I know people think about stuff like that sometimes.
Yeah. So I guess I have some more stuff to release from that life because it sounds like it was pretty significant. So let me figure out who else is here because my pendulum's going crazy. It's your mom again from 40 past lives ago. Okay, so she was not Irish. Your dad was Irish, but she was not. So I think she wanted to let you know, like, hey, wait, not Irish. So
Yeah.
it meant it was important for her to let you know that she wasn't Irish, that only your dad was in that life. Okay. Okay, so is that everything? Do you have anything else? Oh, she has something else too. Okay, so okay, let's see here. Anything else with this past life, 45 past lives? Did we heal all of that? Oh, I guess we did heal it all. Okay. She just wanted me to write it on paper so I wouldn't forget. Because I wasn't going to write it. I was like, oh, let me just write it in case we're going back to it. So she wanted to make sure I did my due diligence and like write it down. She's like, write that down. Oh gosh, it's so funny. Okay. All right. And here's the thing. It's funny because a lot of times from our past lives, those are like kind of like our soul family. And a lot of times they are, you kind of stick with the same soul family and you do the same lives together over and over and over again. So, anyways, that's probably like, she's like, make sure you say that. Okay. So anything else with this 45 past lives ago? No. Okay. What was that other question that you had, Stephanie?
There was a trapped emotion of nervousness with the intimacy of food. And I know that's where you took off on that part of it, but and I believe this is Tara's. It's not anybody else's, it's hers.
Okay.
And it's the timidness to feel jumpy or on edge. Which could be what you feel when you say anxiety, but it's a nervousness. And I mean, we can even go back and ask, like, where did that initially start? When did that start? And I'll see if I can figure that out. Let's see.
Okay, well, I have somebody else here. It's not letting me ask any questions. I have to, I know who it is. It's actually your mom's dad. And so I have to turn the page. So he's here. Did you ever meet him?
Yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay. So this is your maternal grandpa. Let's see what he needs to release. Okay, so odd row, even row, 2, 4, 6. humiliation, jealousy, longing. This is a longing. To miss someone. Okay, so he's really sweet. He said he misses your mom. So I asked, I was like, it's a longing. So it's like to miss someone. And I was like, your wife? And I was like, no. And I'm like, your daughter? No, said yes. So, and he's saying your mom. So, okay, there's more to that. Hold on a second. Okay, what else? Okay. So guilt. And okay. So this, I'm getting the feeling of having done wrong, done something wrong. Okay. Okay, so release. Well, first let's release that longing.
To miss someone.
To miss someone. Totally apart. Wow, that was a good shift. And then now we're going to release the guilt and feeling and of having done something wrong, totally, completely, and permanently. Okay. Okay. I guess that was it. He just had the longing and then the guilt of doing something wrong. So okay. Does that resonate with you at all, Tara?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we go back to the nervousness?
Yes, we can.
Stephanie!
She's like, the nervousness. Okay, yes, we can go back to the nervousness.
I know it's something that it kind of came about when you were 15. So something at 15, making you feel timid, to feel jumpy and on edge. That's when the first time that you were feeling like that.
Well, was that like when you were really active in sports and maybe you had to like try out for something? Was like the first time you had tryouts? Like before you were younger, everybody played, and now you're like, what if I'm not good enough to play?
Yeah, and I when I was 15, I was a freshman, and at first they tryouts, they said I made it to varsity. Everybody told me, you know, you made it on the varsity as a freshman and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then the teams actually came out, and I was on JV, and I had everybody just thought I was going to make it, but I believed what they were saying, and so I mean I could relate it to that because that was definitely in my head. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm a freshman and I'm on the varsity team, right? I'm 15 years old. So
that's what that was.
And I'm getting a yes for that. So
yeah.
Well, let's just release that. So we're just going to release that nervousness of being timid, to feel jumpy on edge at 15 years old, 100% completely and permanently.
Okay. All right.
I do have one word, if we're getting close, that I just need to ask her what she feels about that one word.
Sure.
It's the word beautiful. Tell me what you feel about, how does that sit with you? Have you ever felt like, I'm beautiful?
No. No, I feel like I've had beautiful moments. Like physically, no. I mean, I feel like I've had, you know, pretty days physically, but when I think beautiful, I think more of like events or wonderful things that have happened that I've either seen or been a part of. you know, the birth of my kids, that's beautiful to me.
Mhm.
You know, the friendship that I have with my friend Kara, that's beautiful to me. Like that kind of thing, more than, yeah. So
Yeah.
More
the
like
feeling.
experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kept tugging at me, and I'm like, I'm wondering what she thinks about beautiful, because I mean, I had a feeling that you were going to talk about more experiences than something as beauty or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it definitely was coming up as experiences, and that you didn't really resonate beauty as the internal type.
Let's see. So
I get that you resonated with it about 10%. You know, as like I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. About 10%.
Yeah.
I think we need to shift that.
well, yeah, what came up was humiliation at 5 years old. So something happened at 5 years old that was like, it falls under humiliation. So just basically to feel embarrassed. And who knows what that could have been, because we were 5, and you know, like it could have been anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so oh, I already released that. Let's see if there's another trapped emotion here.
Yeah, I'm getting there. There must be.
So this is disgust. Okay, so I'm getting this is a feeling of loathing. Okay, so I'm gonna release the trapped emotion of disgust and a feeling of loathing. Totally completely. So if I say, Tara, do you feel comfortable in your own skin? How do you feel when I say that?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so whatever created that times a gazillion, do you choose to uncreate and destroy it all?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, good. Great shift. Okay. Yeah, because when I was getting the trapped emotion of disgust and that feeling of loathing, it wasn't like you loathed something else. It's like you felt disgusted with yourself. You loathed yourself. You a feeling of loathing like in your own body where you didn't feel comfortable. Okay. Okay, so Tara, something happened at age 5 that you're not aware of. So I'm just gonna put that out there, and I'm just going to heal that. Okay, totally, completely, and permanently. Oh gosh, that was really, really good. Okay, now if I say, okay, Tara, do you feel beautiful? I get a yes. And if I say, do you feel comfortable in your own skin? I get a yes. So 2 very important things that you need. I mean, really, 4 totally like impactful things. Loving yourself unconditionally, not judging yourself, feeling beautiful inside and out, And then being comfortable in your own skin is all really, really, really important things to help you and support you on your way to releasing all the excess body weight that you want. Okay, so your subconscious is telling me you have a body wall. So remember before when we talked about like a heart wall and we release your heart walls? Okay, well, your body can do the same thing. It's there to protect you from like people invading your space. So you put this wall up around you, right? These body walls can have actual weight attached to them. So I'm going to see how much your body wall weighs, and maybe we could release that. So, so I'm getting 21 pounds. So is there anything else we need to do to release this body wall? No, it just wants to kind of be acknowledged. Okay, can we shed that body wall right now? Are there any trapped emotions? No, it's just really for protection. Let's see when you got this. So 14, it's saying 14 years old. Okay. 14 years old. Are you getting the same thing, Stephanie?
Yeah.
Okay. You're just so quiet over there.
No, I was just looking back at the time frame, what had gone on when she was 15. So, I mean, everything just keeps on peeling itself back. So it's just interesting where you get to next.
Well, it's funny because like something happens and then, you protect yourself, and then something else happens, and then it's just layer after layer. So what we're doing is we're just like peeling back the layer, peeling back that layer, peeling back that layer. And as we peel back the layer, then there's other emotions and stuff that come up to the surface like, oh, my turn, me now. And so, and it's all different because it's not like it doesn't go in chronological. Obviously it bounces all around. I get that I released the body wall. Can you confirm that for me, Stephanie?
I did. Yeah, I did. You did release it.
Okay, cool. Because the body wall was ready to be released.
Yeah.
So that was 21 pounds. So what would it take for the next time like you went to bed and woke up and were just shedding for the next few days those excess 21 pounds of that body wall? That would be amazing.
I know.
Let me know if that happens.
Okay, I will.
Let us know.
Please let us know.
Give you all the credit.
And give me all the credit, honey. Okay, so anything else? I'm not getting anything else to work on today. You're not getting anything else either, Stephanie?
No.
Was there anything else, Tara, that you thought that you wanted to, we don't even ask you ever, that you wanted to work on today?
No, I mean, I think it was like the temptation, because that was a struggle for me. So I think we addressed that. Yeah.
Yep. I released that totally.
Yeah.
And let me make sure that we release everything else.
We had quite a few. Are you still, when you look in the mirror, are you doing those positive affirmations?
Yeah. So I had put on my mirror, I love you just the way you are. And so, yeah, I've had a couple people ask me about that.
Yeah.
Can you add onto there, you are beautiful?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to say something about your skin, but it's almost like I want to say your skin's never looked so good. You know what I mean? Like, before you didn't feel comfortable in your skin. So I want to like build that up too, like to feel comfortable in your body. But you could just say silly things like that to make it light and joyful and happy, and you're just like, and it makes you laugh, right?
Yeah.
So laughter is the best.
I like it.
I like it.
I like that.
If you want to write that, like, never looks so good in your skin. Your skin never looks so good. Okay, so I'm going to see how many days it's going to take you to process this. So Okay, so 33 days. So that's like 1 month away. So I would just love it if you came back, of course, followed up with us in a month. I would be so excited if you said, hey, that 21 pounds is gone. Like, what if?
Yeah.
You know, what else is possible, right? What else is possible? Okay, how you feeling now, Tara?
I feel good. I feel good. A little refreshed. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
And maybe even consider joining, getting a hold of us about the mastermind group.
Oh, yeah.
Join in with us, and we could talk about that obviously later. And then when we wrap this up, if we wanted to do that full Court of Atonement, we could do that.
Yes, we will do that. So thank you, everybody, for joining us again today for another episode of Healing with Amanda and Stephanie. And thank you again, Tara, so much for letting us use you as a guinea pig. Not
Love
really,
it.
you know what I mean?
No, we're appreciative.
Yes, we're very appreciative for you to come. It's a blessing for us to be able to provide these services for you. And if you haven't liked and subscribed our page, please do so, because there's a lot more people that are going through things like Tara, people that are in addiction. And like, as you know, it doesn't have to be drug addiction or food addiction. I mean, there's a lot of other addictions out there. Some people have a shopping addiction, or they just have a sugar addiction, or they have a chocolate addiction, or a shopping addiction where they just have so many clothes. There's all those things that people do to try to cope and make themselves feel better. And so we're so appreciative. Hit that bell so you can know when we're going live, and you can ask questions. I don't think there was any questions today. Nope, no questions today. If you like what you see, share our page with your friends so they can get this too. And underneath in the comments, I'll put how to get in touch with Stephanie and I. One, if you want to go on live and do a healing session, we have been doing mini 15-minute healing sessions by proxy. So it's just Stephanie and I getting on. We don't say your name. We just say your initials, and that's open for anybody. And then we send you the link to your own personal YouTube healing. And then if you wanted to have a session with Stephanie or I, you can email us. That information will be in the description below. If you guys are interested in being a part of a mastermind, like, let us know, because I am I'm a mastermind facilitator and leader. Stephanie and I have our own mastermind that we do once a week. So, and we're always looking for people to help. So thank you so much. And we will see you guys